Good morning. I don't know if this is on or not. All right, now we're live. Welcome. This is one of the happy times of the year. It's a joyous occasion and it always makes me enormously proud because during 2011, 33 owners of Iowa farmland have committed over 6,000 acres to conservation-related protection with an estimated value of $7 million in a state with one of the lowest amounts of public land in the nation. That's a wonderful gift, and you're doing something for not just Iowa, but for Iowa for generations. The organizations and agencies involved this year in lands gifts include the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation, White Rock Conservancy, Iowa Department of Natural Resources, and several of the Iowa County Conservation Boards, which are increasingly a part of protecting our nature and our waters and our air, and we're very much benefit Iowa's parks, trails, fish and wildlife areas, and public recreational areas. One example is the Iowa's trout streams. I'm fond of hearing and telling about our success there, and it certainly predates me, but in the 80s, as recently as the 80s, we have 36 cold water streams in Iowa that will sustain trout populations over the time. At that time, 2, maybe 3 had trout in them that were spawning. Not enough to sustain the population. It wouldn't survive a fishery, but there were trout spawning on those 2 or 3 streams. As a result of efforts of all the groups mentioned and good people of Iowa and nature conservancies, we have 36 streams now that are containing trout, and over 30 of them are spawning trout, and a large number of them, high 20s, are on a sustainable population. And that's remarkable, and Mother Nature can do a wonderful job if you just give her the chance. And Iowans are increasingly doing that. We'll welcome some of the landowners who could be with us today and their family members. We'll also remember those who passed away since their gift was made. We had one landowner pass away in the last couple of weeks. The governor and lieutenant governor are scheduled to be here, but they're scheduled to be running a bit late because they had a meeting that was to go to 11:30, and so we hope that they're here, but I don't know just what their schedule will be. Where's Tammy? Tammy, should we begin with the gifts before the governor comes, or wait for him? I'm not hearing an answer, Tammy. Oh, yeah, yes. Would you come forward, please? Been involved in this event for a long time. She has her own perspective, and she's going to share it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm not a government official. I am here as a citizen, and I do have a unique perspective on this event. I belong to a very large family, and we have been gifting land to a permanent conservation easement under the auspices of White Rock Conservancy, a nonprofit land trust, with the help of the IMH and many other organizations. So I have been attending this very event since its inception, because our gift is sequential. We give a little bit every year because that's the way you get the tax breaks. So I want to speak to that unique perspective. As a citizen, every year I'm here, and every year I see different faces of different private individuals, families, giving away their land. They are giving up control of their land. They are gifting their land. They are giving it to the future. And I tell you, every year I'm moved. Right now I have tears in my eyes as I am talking about this because every year I'm so moved. One year I met my mother's cleaning lady here. She and her sisters were donating a piece of land in memory of their father who had passed away. And I mean, so people of all walks of life. There are people here from out of state who are donating family land. People donate little pieces, people donate big pieces. But the point is that we are giving something very important to Iowa, to Iowa's future, to the children. The Native Americans like to talk about land ethic. They say, as you use this land, think about how it will impact the 7th generation. And I think that's what all of you are doing. And I'm speaking not just to all of you, but I'm speaking to every group that I've seen in the previous 5 years of this program recognition. And I hope each of you will speak to your neighbors, your friends, about this program and encourage them to think about what little piece can they donate to this, to our state, which has so little public land. So each piece, no matter how big, no matter how small, is vitally important. So with that, I'll just say thank you so much, everyone here. You rock.
Thank you, Kate. And I think that she feels that very strongly. We are now honored to have with us today the Lieutenant Governor and the Governor, and they're here to present the certificates, and they're as proud of you as we all are. And one thing I should remind you is that while DNR is proud and pleased to manage and to husband the state of Iowa's land, the land you have contributed is owned by the state of Iowa, by the citizens of Iowa, so that you still own a piece of it as a citizen of Iowa, or as a former citizen of Iowa, or as someone who has an interest in Iowa. You still own a piece of that land that you've given. And without more, Governor Terry Branstad and Lieutenant Governor Tim Reynolds come forward.
Thank you. Roger Lande, thank you, and I want to thank the DNR for inviting Lieutenant Governor Reynolds and I to join you for this special event today as we honor and recognize 30 landowners and families and organizations that have made gifts in 2011 of land and conservation easements to the state of Iowa. These donations represent more than 6,000 acres in 30 counties of our state. So this is a very important and significant gift that you all have made, and I want you to know that we, people of Iowa, appreciate it very much. Lieutenant Governor and I are working with the goal of making Iowa the healthiest state in the nation, and we think one of the things that will help is to have open spaces and land where people can exercise and walk and enjoy the beautiful land we have in Iowa and the outdoors that we have. These projects are great examples of really private citizens giving an ongoing gift to benefit the people of Iowa, really leaving a legacy, and we're extremely, and I guess as one that grew up on a family farm that's been in the family over 100 years, I understand how important and how families are attached to the land and how significant that is, and we just happen to be very fortunate to live in this beautiful land we do call Iowa. So on behalf of the people of Iowa, I just want to say a sincere thank you. I think we're going to, Chuck Gibbs is going to read the names of the people who gave the gifts, and I think Roger and Lieutenant Governor Kim Reynolds and I are going to take pictures with you, but we just want you to know, we know how significant this is. This land becomes more and more valuable, and so the value of your gifts is significant. Having been governor during the farm crisis of the 80s, and now I've seen it go both ways. And anyway, but we also know there's, as somebody said a long time ago, there's only so much of this land. You know, they don't make any more of it. And it's great that it's being preserved to have the benefit and enjoyment for future generations. Thank you very much.
Thomas, thank you so much for being here today. We're pleased to have you here. So as I call your name, please line up over here and then come around this way, and we'll have to do this fairly quickly. The governor has a short schedule, but once again, we're very pleased to have you all here with your generous donations. So first recipient, Thomas and Kathleen Aller. Next up will be Vern Fish from the director of the behalf of the Blackhawk County Conservation Board. Thomas and Kathleen Aller donated 38.5-acre conservation easement to Linn County Conservation Board. This property includes significant natural wetland and woodlands with small agricultural fields. This donation ensures the natural features of the property will be protected into perpetuity. Thank you, Thomas and Kathleen. Please hold your applause to the end, please. Vern Fish, director on behalf of the Blackhawk County Conservation Board. Is Vern here?
Yes, right behind you.
Next up, the Blockhus. The Blackhawk County Conservation Board donated 39 acres to the Iowa Department of Natural Resources. The tract lies within the boundaries of George Wythe State Park adjacent to the Cedar River. Thank you, Vern, on behalf of the Blackhawk County Conservation Board. The Blockhuses. Kenneth and Harriet Blockhus helped protect 233 diverse acres near Elgin with a bargain sale donation to the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation. The land includes a well-managed woodland riparian area along two intermittent streams that feed into the Turkey River and upland grassland habitat. The couple have long allowed community use of the land for outdoor activities such as birding and horseback riding. It is next to Fayette County's Gilbertson Conservation Education Area and will transfer to the county to own and manage. Thank you to the Blackhuses. Dan DeCook, on behalf of his parents, Marion K. DeCook. Marion K. donated a conservation easement on 1,987 acres to the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation to permanently protect land in Marion and Monroe counties. Their land is part of a two-generation ranching operation based on sustainable practices that emphasize rewilding the land, restore prairie, wetlands, and other wildlife habitat, and reintroducing bison. Thank you very much to the DeCook family.
Thank you. Thank you.
Eric and Karen Dowell. Eric and Karen have permanently protected 80 acres of high-quality woodland habitat in Butler County with conservation easement donated to the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation. Their donation will benefit wildlife and water quality in state-designated impaired Lower Beaver Creek, Cedar River watershed. Thank you so much to the Dowells.
Thank you.
James and Sandra Farnsworth. Jim and Sandy Farnsworth made a bargain sale donation of a conservation easement in Clayton County to protect 24 acres with spectacular views of the Mississippi River to the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation. Their property is primarily upland mixed deciduous forest that they have actively managed according to the Woodland Stewardship Plan. This property adjoins federal and state property near Parks Peak State Park. Thank you to Farnsworth. Mike DeCook. Sorry we missed you. We had two DeCook families. Mike DeCook donated a conservation easement on 200 acres of the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation to permanently protect land in Monroe County. Mike is working with his family to implement sustainable practices and rewild their land by restoring prairie and wetlands and reintroducing bison. Thank you very much, Mike. Kate Garst, on behalf of the Garst family. Since 2005, the Garst family has been gifting family and family business-owned recreation, production, and conservation lands as part of a 5,300-acre planned land gift from the Garst family to the White Rock Conservancy. The Garst family has gifted just shy of 3,000 acres of their family's land. In addition to donating a part of their family's treasured land holdings, the family established an endowment fund to ensure the land is properly stewarded over time. They make annual financial contributions, and they also donate their time as volunteers by being involved with the organization as board members and project volunteers. The latest land gift, called the East Betts Farm, is a 160-acre parcel of cropland that will be used by White Rock Conservancy to demonstrate a suite of conservation practices, including no-till production, cover crops, grass waterways, and a wetland designed to reduce tidal source nitrogen, as well as benefit wetland species such as waterfowl, amphibians, and aquatic insects. The public will have access to the property via a new trail system at White Rock and the availability of the interpretive signs. Thank you very much to the Garst family. Max Grover and Emily Bainter, on behalf of Guy and Shirley Grover. A local farmer and conservationist, Guy Grover, dedicated his time and resources to make this land along the Wapsipican River in Buchanan County the wonderful resource it is today. The Grovers donated the 186 acres of Buchanan County to the Buchanan County Conservation Board as a place for the public to enjoy and learn about nature. The Grovers acquired this property in 1988 and soon began enhancing the natural features of the property. The land contained great natural features, including upland and bottomland forest, access to the Wapsipican River shoreline, a savanna, and an old quarry pond. Pasture and croplands were converted to trees. Most of the tree plantings are alternating rows of conifers and hardwoods, that's oaks, walnuts, and others. Older plantings date back to the early 1990s and now are large trees. The conifer rows shaded the sides of the hardwoods, resulting in trees growing straight and tall towards overhead sunlight. During an 8-year period, Guy and his brother Max planted approximately 30,000 trees. Helen DeElda Gunderson. Helen DeElda Gunderson of Ames has donated 60 acres of family land in the Pocahontas County to the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation. The property, which includes native and restored prairie next to Beaver Creek, will be known as the DeElda Heritage Area in honor of their grandmother DeElda and other farm women.
Well, that's been a few years.
Mark Ockelson, on behalf of the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation. The Iowa DNR would like to acknowledge and thank the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation, Mark, in particular for your leadership, for their outstanding efforts in land conservation and their important partnership with DNR.
Thank you very much.
In 2011, Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation partnered with the DNR on land acquisition projects totaling over 930 acres protected. Each of these projects was conveyed to the DNR by bargain sale. Thank you so much to Mark and your leadership in Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation. Robert and Patricia Jester. Robert and Patricia Jester of West Des Moines donated 22 acres of scenic acres along the Upper Iowa River in Winneshiek County to the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation. The couple's gift protects a key portion of one of the most beloved stretches of this popular river, furthering efforts to protect the watershed and viewership of the Upper Iowa River.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you so much to the Jesters, my home county. Connie Debner from the Vickers Law Firm on behalf of Berniece and E. Kyle Estate. Berniece E. Kyle bequeathed a 60-acre site in Butler County to the Iowa Department of Natural Resources. The land is a majority of cropland with a small amount of timber. The tract is utilized by songbirds, fur bearers, deer, and pheasants. The area will be managed as wildlife refuge of hunting and trapping prohibited. Rodney Lieber of Lieber Land Holdings, LLC. Lieber Land Holdings, LLC of Lawton, Iowa, chose to sell 167 acres along the Lust Hills Scenic Byway to the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation, donating a portion of its value. This land just north of Sioux City has remnant prairies, notable archaeological resources, and scenic views. It may become a state recreation area or a state preserve. Thank you to the Liebers. Michael and Linda Rickert. Michael and Linda Rickert of Rhinebeck have permanently protected 72 wooded acres of Hardin County with a conservation easement donated to the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation. Their land, with its abundant nut trees, expands the habitat of other protected sites in the Iowa River Greenbelt. The Rickerts also protected land in the Upper Iowa River in 2007. Thanks again to the Rickerts. Roach Farms Incorporated, Ed and Pat Roach. Roach Farms Incorporated was a real estate, insurance, and farm management business operating out of Plainfield, Iowa for over 100 years. Prior to dissolving their business, they chose to have a 50-acre land donation in Bremer County as a way of giving back to those they served so long. The area lies just east of Plainfield, adjacent to an existing 228-acre North Cedar Park, North Cedar Wildlife Area complex.
Thank you very much.
It will be management by the Conservation Board as a wildlife area with no development plan. Thank you so much, the Roaches. Dr. Patrick and Nina Swanson. Dr. Patrick and Nina Swanson have protected 59 acres visible from Luss Hills National Scenic Byway with a conservation easement donated to the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation. They are protecting high-quality remnant Luss Hills prairie, savanna and bur oak woodlands that are surrounded by units of the Luss Hills Prairie State Forest. Thank you so much to the Swansons. Phyllis and Don Captain.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
Phyllis Captain has been a lifelong resident, has had a lifelong interest in prairie. In 1994, she worked with Dr. Ray Hamilton and purchased 80 acres in Jones County with the intent of preserving very high-quality prairie remnants on the site. Phyllis and Dr. Hamilton split the property, and Phyllis retained ownership of 45.5 acres. On December 29th of 2011, Phyllis and Don Captain sold the property to the Jones County Conservation Board at more than 25% below appraised value, ensuring the protection of areas of pristine prairie remnants for future generations. This site most includes some of the highest quality prairie remnant in Jones County. More than 45 species of greatest conservation need are associated with the area. The area will be managed by the Jones County Conservation Board as a prairie preserve, open to hunting, educational programs, and research into the area's unique and endangered plant community. Our thanks to the captains. Brenda Mainwaring, on behalf of the Union Pacific Railroad. Union Pacific Railroad made a significant bargain sale to the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation that makes it possible to convert 7 miles of former rail corridor into a multi-purpose trail between Bondurant and Berwick, Iowa. This section will link the Chautauqua Valley Trail to the Central Iowa Trail System serving the Des Moines metro region. With 4 prior bargain sales in 2005 to 2009, Union Pacific also helped establish the Jewel Ellsworth Trail, Rolling Prairie Trail, High Trestle Trail, and the Dawson-Waukee portion of the Raccoon River Valley Trail. Our thanks to the Mainwaring and the Union Pacific Railroad. Larry and Virginia Van Ersvelde. Larry and Virginia Van Ersvelde have protected 80 acres of land in Poweshiek County on an intermittent stream that feeds into the North Fork of the English River. The Van Ersveldes are restoring natural ecosystems here for wildlife habitat and water quality. The conservation easement donated to the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation is now held by the Poweshiek County Conservation Board, launching the county's easement program. Thank you so much, the Van Ersvelde. Andrea and Lee Vinteicher.
Well, thank you.
You would know. Andrea and Lee Vinteicher have donated 205 acres of scenic and rugged land in the Albuquerque County to the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation, reserving lifetime use of the land. The couple also donated conservation easements in 2008 and 2009. Thank you so much for the generous donation. Charles and Donna Walker and family. Mr. and Mrs. Walker and family donated 29 acres to Winnebago County Conservation Board. The property is made up of a small wetland and native and restored prairie. The area will remain open to the public for their enjoyment. Thank you so much to the Walkers.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that concludes our generous donations. We'd like to take this time to thank all of you once again, and on behalf of the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation and the state of Iowa and Department of Natural Resources, thank you so much for all your efforts.
Family has long been active in conservation, and we appreciate Peter coming this morning. He's got a full plate these days. as do all the legislators. They've got a lot of hard work ahead of them. We thank you all for coming and encourage you to exchange stories of your mutual dedication to the betterment of Iowa and the increasing part that these public lands play in our life and what they can do to help Iowa be the healthiest state. Our river trails are getting increasingly amounts of travel by canoe and kayak and rubber boat and pontoon and everything else. And if you have a moment this summer, stop and see what the city has done in Charles City to create a magnificent whitewater experience for their citizens. And it's getting huge play and lots of activity, and I'm sure they're all the healthier for it, despite the bumps and bruises. Anyway, thank you again for coming, and we're very proud of all of you, and we appreciate it very much. Thank you.